Now to the environment, pest management remains a major challenge to protecting the environment and public health, especially in the southwest region of Nigeria as in other areas. But experts say poor waste disposal, unregulated pesticide use, and weak enforcement of environmental laws continue to worsen the problem. In many communities, the rise in pest-related diseases such as malaria, typhoid, and cholera highlights the urgent need for effective control measures. Residents also face health risks from excessive use of chemical pesticides, which pollute the air, the water, and the soil. Environmental health officers are calling for stronger public awareness, better sanitation practices, and modern pest control methods that are safe for both the people and the environment. They say collective efforts from the governments, the private sector, and communities is key to achieving sustainable pest management in the region. Now we're joined on Newsroom series for environmental protection discussion, the pest management expert and CEO of Rotimax Integrated Services Limited, Dr. Tolu Caleb, live in our studio. It's good to have you on Newsroom series today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you, sir.
Let's begin with the obvious question.
All right.
What are the major challenges of pest management in protecting public health and the environment in the southwest region?
All right. So before we go into that question, before we go into answer that question, we need to do a very brief explanation about what is pest management.
You may. Go ahead.
I will do that.
Right.
Pest management is widely wrongly speculated as fumigation in Nigeria or in Africa. So as I'm speaking to you here, you're telling me what is the role of pest management, but let me say 98% of our audience will think that we're talking about fumigation.
So we get the definition of pest management wrong most of the time. That's what you're saying.
We get the definition of fumigation wrong. We usually always hint so much on fumigation, which is actually wrong. You know, if you, as a novice, is calling a pest management expert, you're telling he or she that, can you come to my facility to, offer a fumigation service? And pest management is a profession. Pest management is the holistic approach into anything that has to do with controlling of pests. Fumigation is just one of different processes engaged by professionals. So that's why we have to, do a little.
But it's still pests, right?
Yes.
Whether in industrial areas or
so in most cases, you might not even need to engage fumigation processes in controlling pests. Okay. So we need to let our audience know that pest management is holistic, generic, not as widely speculated as, I want to fumigate. In most cases, you don't probably need fumigation.
Okay. So how does that apply to your experience in the southwest region?
Well, in the southwest region, as you have mentioned, what are the challenges? The top of the list is extreme low awareness and pest education. In the Western countries, we have pest management as something that they take so serious. What I mean that you go to an higher institution of learning for 5 years to study, the process of pest management. But here we only have maybe vocational centers. Recently, we have some higher institutions coming up. But for years, there's no emphasis on seeing that as a profession. So it has actually, affected the projection, how even the society see pest management as a means of not just maintaining safe environment and also a means of livelihood. Are you getting my point? Mm-hmm. So now, pest management, like I mentioned, is anything that has to do with the process of making sure that you control infestation of pests in either homes, offices, or in public areas.
Let me ask you about that specifically now. Where do you get the most business? Is it in homes, in where people are living, or in places of business?
No, in places of business, because there's an act of parliament in the year 2002 that mandates public facilities to make sure that this is done on a minimum of quarterly basis, which is every 3 months. But for private homes, there's no law. There's no act of parliament, there's no law that guides them. So they choose to do this at their own convenience. They might not do this in 3 years, 4 years, but if you have, a commercial facility the law mandates that in every quarter you must have a professional come, and at least do the justice to your facility to make sure that you don't have pest infestation.
It's interesting you mentioned that it's not seen as a vocation here as opposed to other countries, because it should be very lucrative. What about pest control for farms?
Yeah, it is very lucrative. In the agricultural area, it has to do with food security, because the moment you have so much of pest infestation in a farm area, it leads to economic losses. And at the same time, it looks to the possibility of food contamination. So it's a big deal in the agricultural area. But in this climb, everything that has to do with enforcement, or maybe it has to do with government policies. It's government policies that drives things like this in our climb. Ordinarily people might not really see any need, sometimes because they want to make profits or because they don't see an importance in doing this. But the moment there's a consistent, that's why I started with the first issues of public health, pest management is extreme low awareness and, in fact, zero pest education. Recently, we took it upon ourselves to go to secondary schools to educate, the pupils about what is pest management and what is the importance of pest management. My own son, jokingly, sometimes I joke with him that, do you see yourself growing up to become a pest management expert? Towing the line of your dad, and he said, no, I don't want. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. It's not seen as a profession that he can be proud of. It has to do with education and awareness.
It's very interesting because I was watching a documentary recently about how pests were affecting vast swathes of farmland in other countries. And, they invade the crops, and then they're a scourge, even if it's locusts. And I see that is something that. But finally, how does poor waste disposal contribute to pest infestation?
Poor waste disposal is a major contributory reason why we have a lot of pest infestation. First of all, the waste site is the easiest and the most convenient breeding ground. So when you have a waste site, just like in your homes, you have a waste site that is not regularly evacuated. You see rodents, rats, mice, and the rest around there. You see flies, you see mosquito. So one of the major contributory fact about the waste site is that it's a breeding ground. Two, it's an easy access of groundwater contamination. When you have waste site, it leads to contaminating of in fact, air pollution. It actually also pollutes the air. Like in the standard, the normal standard is that you have what you call sand filling, land filling practices, which is at every day that you go there to dispose your waste, there is a layer of sand that is used to cover your waste. But in Lagos State, which is like the forefront of everything that has to be innovative, we only have Olusoso and Igondo, and they are land filling site, but they don't really practice land filling, because you go there, you see heaps of waste. Every time you pass around, you can smell it, you can see it. That is not really the land filling process of waste management. So
we hope that that is paid attention to.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just have to leave it there. We wish we had more time to continue to discuss pest control in the Southwest with you. The CEO, Rotimax Integrated Services Limited, Dr. Tolu Caleb. Thank you for joining us on Newsroom Series.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And that's where we leave it on the program today. Thank you for watching. I'm Olumide Macaulay. See you again.